So I've got a question. Do you trust prophets? If somebody told you that they were a prophet, would you take what they are saying to heart and believe it? What if they told you that the court of heaven was the highest court in the world, and the court of heaven had already made some decisions for the United States? Now, let's go ahead and see what that might look like if someone were to happen to believe that. The first one we have here is from Stargazer Lay, a slime Suris, because it's my favorite model. I decided not to color it this time. The next one we have here is from Biconosaurus. It said, I drew Suris as a Digimon. Enjoy. Well, thank you very much, Biconosaurus. The last one we have is from the Mini Ace. Here, have a Cryptolander NFT Suris. I stare at this and I contemplate the infinite void and how much pain I would be missing out on if I just cast myself into it. But anyways, as always, everyone, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. Maybe even hit the bell notification icon, or if you are really feeling frisky, check out the Patreon in the link below. I swear I've made content on there. I just haven't been able to get to it during the subathon because I've been stuck in the same place. So, apologies for all of that. But, let's go ahead and get right into, everything we are going on. Now, we're going to be covering a guy named Johnny Enlow here, and he's going to be talking to Steve Schultz. Now, for those who don't know, Steve Schultz is actually the person who's been talking a lot with Kat Kerr. They run a podcast a lot of the time together. Kat Kerr is the pink-haired lady who believes that Trump is God's Messiah or some shit. So, let's go ahead.
I'm just going to say some things again, and controversial until we show the proof. But we'll tell you that, the Supreme Court of Heaven already decertified the 2020 election.
All right, let's go ahead and begin with that. The Supreme Court of Heaven decertified the 2020 election. Now, I have to ask, this is just a personal question. What do you think the method we would use to certify that would be? What method do you think we would apply here to determine whether or not that was a true statement? How would we do that? If somebody told you that a supernatural power outside of your ability to see, smell, hear, verify, etc., happened to decertify something within politics, what would your response be? I mean, I know what my response is going to be. It's going to be, well, how would you prove that? So, what would your response be? I think something along the lines of, why do you believe that? Or, why do you think that? Something like that. Something to make somebody question why they are believing the thing they are, as opposed to just taking it whole cloth. But let's go ahead and continue. There is more to see.
Oh, that's good.
That happened the day of the thievery. That happened November 3rd and November 4th. It was decertified in heaven.
Wow.
And so the Supreme Court of Heaven decertified. So just let that resonate with you.
So the Supreme Court of Heaven decertified things. We have to let that resonate with us. I don't know if I can, Johnny. I don't really know if I can, because from where I'm sitting, I'm seeing a country that certified an election, and whether or not you believe the election was stolen, that's your business. I would ask you to bring evidence of that belief no matter what, but I would probably ask you to do that with the majority of beliefs you would hold. I personally do not think that enough election fraud happened during the 2020 election to warrant a different president being in office, but that's just me. Who knows? Our political system is already fairly well and screwed anyway. But that's just my position. I don't know how John Enloe came to his. Maybe he'll let us know.
Now, the Supreme Court of the United States, somehow freed up from some constraints of blackmail or whatever, either late June or early July, they also have already decertified the 2020 election.
But that
Wait, did they? Hold on, say that again.
Mail or whatever, either late June or early July, they also have already decertified the 2020 election.
All right, this is where we need a citation. So let's see here. Did the Supreme Court decertify the election? How do you come to that conclusion? Well, let's go ahead and take a look here. Let's go to Reuters. The Supreme Court has not voted to overturn the result of the 2020 presidential election, despite claims made online. Legal professors told Reuters that no such decision was made, and the court is currently in recess, with the term to begin in fall. One user shared the claim on Twitter and said, "Breaking! SCOTUS has voted to overturn the 2020 election. Justices have been placed into protective care, according to a leaked report." And that is apparently here. Let's take a look at it. Oh, that is a shame. That is a shame. This whole account is just gone. Tylo, thank you for redeeming your points for an you fucking degen. And a furry gamer 666, thank you for redeeming your points for an owl. But interesting. So let's go back to the article here now that we know that the account was suspended. The tweet had gathered more than 69,000 likes and over 2,000 shares at the time of writing. Other examples of the claim made can be found here, here, and here. Let's just unscrupulously click these links. Let's see where they go. They all go to Facebook. Interesting. So they all go to Facebook. And we just see just nothing. There's just nothing on any of these. False information checked. I wish. Praise Jesus. All the fun stuff. I wonder. There's not even a post here anymore. I want to see. There we go. The Supreme Court has overturned the 2020 election. President Trump will be back sooner rather than later. Edit. This is a fact. Look it up. It's not a rumor. It's not a rumor. Oh my Jesus on a fucking stick. How do you get to the point of brain rot where easily verifiable information, stuff that is on the internet, that can be found with a simple keystroke and certified, like it can be verified, right? You can verify information on the internet. You can tell if it's true. You can see if it's from a noted source. You can see if it has citations that are of note. Like, information on the internet is plentiful. Not all of it is correct, but it's not the hardest thing in the world for a lot of things to tell if something is true or not. Usually it begins and ends with doing your due diligence and checking citations, checking reasoning. But apparently that's just not done with a lot of people on the internet, and I don't get it. To the point where there are pastors online that are trying to argue this. How do you get to this point? I want to know, if you believe that the 2020 election was so thoroughly corrupted that it was a stolen election, then by all means, let me know in the comment section below. Because the last time I had this conversation with someone in real life, their position was, well, I mean, more people voted for Donald Trump in this election than anybody's voted for a president in any other election. And I'm just like, well, one, Yeah, that would be really interesting. But how many people voted for the other guy? There's not like a finite amount of voters in the United States that is capped, somewhere under 100 or 200 million, right? Like, our cap of voters is a little higher than that in most cases. So when I hear that particular claim, oh, well, the election was stolen because more people voted for Trump than anybody have voted ever before. Okay, cool. That is an interesting and useful piece of information in a vacuum. Now let's take it out of its vacuum, and let's ask the question, how many people then voted for Biden? And when we get that answer, then we'll see whether or not that first part mattered. But let's go ahead and continue. None of the recent decisions made by the court ahead of summer recess have overturned the election results that saw former President Donald Trump lose to his Democratic challenger, Joe Biden. Reuters did not find any source for the claim that any such decision had been leaked. The Supreme Court also has not published a press release detailing the purported decision. A list of recent decisions, as well as the court's calendar, can all be viewed online conveniently at supremecourt.gov. Reuters spoke with numerous legal experts who confirmed no such decision had been made, and that there is no mechanism for the Supreme Court to override the 2020 presidential election result. This claim is completely false and patently ridiculous, said Frank S. Ravitch, professor of law at Michigan State University College of Law, and he told Reuters that there was no such case before the court, no law that would even support overturning the election, and the court has already ended its term until the fall. So the court is already in recess, which begins annually at the end of June or the beginning of July, during the summer months. The justices do not hear new cases or deliver opinions. Instead, they analyze new petitions for review, consider motions, and prepare for the cases scheduled when term begins, on the first Monday of October. In the last decision handed down before the summer recess, the court ruled that Biden could end a program titled Migrants Protection Protocol that was included in was introduced by the previous administration, which forces non-Mexican asylum seekers to wait in Mexico for their U.S. court dates. Richard Pyle, Solder Family Professor of Constitutional Law, told Reuters that the Supreme Court has not and will never overturn the 2020 election results, and that the court doesn't even have the power to do so. The only way to remove a president from office is through impeachment. Prior to a break for recess, the court announced that it would hear a case, Moore versus Harper, after the term begins in fall. This case will assess a state's ability to reject rules by a state legislature when it comes to conducting federal elections. But the case cannot have any effect on the 2020 presidential election outcome. No matter what the courts decide in the Moore case, the court will not be overturning the 2020 election results, with a final verdict that, false, there is no evidence the Supreme Court has voted to overturn the 2020 presidential election results. Now, I just want to, I go through all this because I know that there's going to be somebody in the audience that goes, you could have just said that it's false and then walked away from it. You would have been fine. We would have believed you. But here's the thing. I don't want you to believe me when I say shit on the internet. I don't. I expressly, when I say things on my channel, I want people to take what I say, take it with a grain of salt, and then go fact check me. If you hear me say something that sounds ludicrous, go do some research on it. See if you come to a different conclusion, and then let me know in my comment section below, and if I've got the time, we might hash it out there. There's a person in there who is accusing me on my Trump Mar-a-Lago video of dealing with multiple different logical fallacies. A few of them I might have actually committed. I'm not 100% certain. I'll have to go reread his comment again, because that's the thing. I do read my comments. But let's go ahead and continue the actual video that is the reason we're here today with Steve Schultz and Johnny Enlow.
That's the rumor I've been hearing. And are you stating that? Are you coming out and stating that they did?
I'm stating it. I'm stating
Wow.
it.
Wow.
And you're going to see that. And they didn't just decertify it, but in that decertification, there is a certifying of President Trump.
Is there though? The Supreme, so again, we've done the work here. So how does it get from Random fucking Facebook post with no citation at all. President Trump was recertified. Biden was decertified. The election's decertified. How do we get from that claim to, no, don't worry, it will come out. It's there. It's there. For the people who are sitting here rooting for Trump to be president again, I have to ask, and this is very important, for those of you who think that he won the election and that he's coming back soon, how long are you going to apply that logic? How long? And if Biden completes his term and Trump is not back before the term is over, at what point do we just accept that you were wrong? How many times does the goalpost get moved? He's coming back soon. He's coming back in July. In January, we'll get him back. They certified it halfway through the election cycle, despite having no mechanism to do so. I'm going to put a bet right now that if Trump runs in 2024, that there is going to be an outpouring of support for Trump, of people who are going to have on record stated that Trump is not going to leave the office, that Trump was going to stay in office the whole time, that the election was a fraud, blah, 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 blah. And then they're going to make the claim, don't you see? I was right. Donald Trump is back, baby. Maybe I'm incorrect. Maybe it's not going to happen. But I'm willing to put that prediction up right now. Old School AJ says, remember, a lot of these people are fundamentalist Christians. They've waited 2,000 years for Jesus, so why not Trump? Yeah. Yeah, it's the same logic. Don't worry, guys, he's coming soon. Despite obviously being the king of edging. But let's continue.
Again, just so you make it clear, the spiritual and the natural, I have been saying all along when people say, when's Trump coming back? I was like, he's never left. He has never been out of his position as supreme governmental leader on the planet. He has not left it. He's not been.
Supreme governmental leader on the planet? Wait. How did we get from the dude who does shitty chicken nugget commercials on Saturday Night Live to President of the United States to supreme governmental leader of the world? The whole goddamn world. How do we get here? What is the A to B? I need to know. What is the logical progression of events that get us to this point in the timeline?
There's some other ones working closely with him, but he is number one, has been number one, and he's been that for years.
So this is how the goalpost moves. This is one of the functions of moving the goalpost. When I go, Trump is not the president, something that is verifiable, he's not currently the president of the United States, we have 1,012 mechanisms for checking that. But when I make a claim like that and somebody goes, he's never left, he's the supreme governmental authority. Okay, but in what capacity? Because there's a couple of capacities you could say that in which I wouldn't be able to refute you, but you'd also be wrong. And even when you're not wrong, you would be completely baseless. There'd be no substance to the claim. So let me go ahead and run through one of the ways that claim can work. A way that you will not be able to refute, but that ultimately is meaningless. Donald Trump is the supreme governmental authority on Earth, placed here by God. Even when he is not in power, he has power because God has all the power, and God is giving Trump all the power he needs. He's working behind the scenes. He's going to drain the swamp. So, when I say a claim like that, you've probably actually heard that exact claim. Someone has said that to you on the internet, at you in real life, at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Somebody has said that, right? And if you take that statement, he's the supreme leader in a spiritual sense, you have to sit down with the person and go, but what does that mean? What does that mean? What is the significance of that statement? So he's a supreme leader in a spiritual sense. Okay, so he can't do anything where the government's concerned. And we're back to square one. Like, let's just grant the premise that God's real for a moment. So Trump has no power in the government as it stands right now. And the only person with supreme power is God. How does that change whether it's Biden in office, or Kamala Harris in office, or Al Gore in office? It doesn't. If someone hides behind that, well, God's truly the one in power, if they hide behind that smokescreen, the best counter is to point out that it doesn't matter who's in office. What office is the presidency of the United States in comparison to the supreme office of your God? Should be minuscule, should be meaningless. And if you can get them to that logic, you might at least, at the very least, be able to break them out of the Trump is president of the United States claim. Because the position they have to hold to think that Trump still has power where the government is concerned, outside of his influence as a celebrity at places like CPAC, the only way to do that is to hold on to... You can only hold that position by maintaining that spiritual position. And you can meet somebody halfway on there. You can. If you can move them from that position, if you can move them off of the rock of Trump having power in the government, you've at least taken them a step away from their issue. You can't move them, likely, from the rock of Trump having spiritual power, but you can get them off of the rock that it matters. Yes, Purple Poundini, we're still going. We still haven't reached the final subathon goals, so there's that. But let's go ahead and continue.
Can I state it another way? When prophets were saying there was going to be a red wave and he was going to win by a landslide in 2020,
and then he failed,
are you stating that he not only won by a landslide, he never left office, having won? He's now starting his other term, if you would put it that way.
He won by a landslide. 2018 was a landslide. The midterms as well. It was another.
Trump wasn't elected in 2018. What? The midterms don't matter for the presidency. Trump wasn't elected in 2018. Why does 2018 matter here? Like, we elected some House representatives in 2018. Why does that matter for Trump? The fuck? Hold on, maybe I'm missing something.
Stating that he not only won by a landslide, he never left office, having won. He's now starting his other term, if you would put it that way.
He won by a landslide. 2018 was a landslide.
No, I missed nothing. There's just not a good argument here. There's zero things that I have missed in this statement. It's just here, plain face and stupid.
The midterms as well. It was another theft, another fraudulent election. Again, prophets paid.
Wait. There was a landslide in 2018, but there was another theft there. Were there claims about a theft in 2018 that was substantial? I feel like I've missed something. Was there widespread... Hold on. Was there... 2018. Because just typing in "was there fraud in the 2018 elections" should bring up some articles. Something. Okay, there is some... So there's some stuff on that. Rick Scott's zombie claim about voter fraud in 2018. You have to remember what I went through in my 2018 election where they completely violated the law. They found 95,000 votes after election night. So sometimes... No. Sometimes... Wait, but... Oh, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. He's making these claims after 2020. He's making these claims after 2020. Wait, but that means... Yeah, no. This shit isn't in contention until they can piggyback off of the voter fraud shit from Trump. That is all this is. Is there anything dated? I don't care about, like, the nitty-gritty details. I just wanted to see if it happened. And the answer is, yes, there are people who claim the 2018 elections were fraudulent too, but those claims seem to be being made after the date of 2020. What is this retroactive bullshit? What is this? I don't understand. So, there's a part of me that looks at this and just goes, well, I mean, it makes sense. It's a giant grift. You make a lot more money, you get a lot more exposure by claiming victimhood than anything else, and this is a way to have conservative victimhood at all times. Lay for Half Beer says, still going? I will drink. Thank you. But this is a way to maintain conservative victimhood at practically every stage. At least that's the perspective I'm getting here. There's a why to all of this, and we'll get to that here in a little while, but give me a moment. Let's finish the video.
The price for saying there's a red wave in 2018, that'll be proven too. The proof of that will come back. So all of those who attack the prophets for not getting it right on the 2018 red wave, just remember who you were and who you attacked, and be prepared to, just do the correct, right thing and say you're sorry.
Okay. All right. So, apologize to prophets who get shit wrong all the time because you can't predict the future, and people believe they can through a variety of mechanisms, and all of them are bullshit. Every single thing you do when it comes to trying to predict the future is going to be a type of cold read. And every single time that you get a prediction correct, mind, not a guess about what's going to happen in the future, but when you predict a thing that is happening, we as humans have an innate ability to grasp onto the times where we got things right and ignore all the times where we get things wrong. If you predict that Joe Schmelly over in your district is going to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on Tuesday morning, and you don't have a reason to believe it, I'm going to eat one in a second, I think, actually. But you don't have a reason to believe the statement. You just make it whole cloth. Not that he's got an established pattern of doing this, but you're doing this full-on cold read. You have no reason to believe it. And for the next 4 weeks, he brings rotisserie chicken. You hold on to that prediction. You move the goalpost. That 5th Tuesday, he brings a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because he didn't have the $8 required to go buy a Publix rotisserie chicken, so he just had to make something out of his pantry. Now, you don't know the reasons. You don't care about the reasons. All you care about is that a peanut butter and sandwich did, in fact, appear with him in his lunchbox on Tuesday, as you predicted. You were right the whole time. It's Tuesday, and there's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich there. However, you're ignoring the last 4 weeks. A peanut butter and sandwich? Oh, God damn it. Did I say a peanut butter and sandwich? A peanut butter and sandwich? Oh, my God. I'm going to go have a peanut butter and sandwich. But you ignore the predictions of the last 4 weeks. Now, why do we do this? Truth be told, cognitive dissonance. Most people who do this aren't doing it maliciously. Most people who do this aren't doing this because they're thinking through the entire conundrum from start to finish. What they're doing is they have one thing they've said in their head, and then the minute that the confirmation happens, the confirmation bias kicks in. And then once the confirmation bias kicks in, they go, okay, I was right the whole time. And again, it's not a malicious thing for most people. It's just what happens. But here's the thing. Why is this thing happening? Because this is not just failed predictions that we're talking about. That's not the entire story. Thank you, Naki Bree, for the hydrate. I will drink a peanut butter and sandwich. The other side of the story is what happens when a country that is utilizing democracy to move forward. We are not a democracy. We are a republic because we have what is called representative democracy here in the United States. But what happens when democratically elected institutions, people, are not trusted? Not just the people that are brought in, but the institution, the mechanism by which they are elected. People on the left do not trust a lot of the election results because the Electoral College skews the results and typically means that a right-wing person will win despite losing the popular vote. Right-wing sources do not trust the United States elections because of shit like what happened with Donald Trump, where an entire narrative was spun about the big lie. I don't think every person involved in this is knowingly trying specifically to destabilize a country. But if you want to know one of the quickest ways to destabilize a country that utilizes democracy as one of its most important tools, it's by eroding the faith in those tools. If you can erode the faith on both political divides in the tools that your country is built on, then you can slowly get that country closer to collapse. Now, people on the left would probably prefer that collapse mean that we get into a socialist utopia of some kind, where the workers own the means of production and healthcare is available for all. And, you know, that is a pipe dream that I would love to stand behind. As a socialist myself, I would. People on the right would like us to fall into theocratic fascism. Now, they won't call it theocratic fascism unless they're Matt Walsh, but I already did a video on how many points Donald Trump hits on the fascist DAR. And theocracy, people like Greg Locke, people like Steven Anderson, that is their goal. 110%. When you erode a nation down, the thing that is built in its place may not be what you want. And that's something that I hope every side here would understand is important. So what I'm saying is, go fucking vote. That's just the takeaway there. Go fucking vote. Even in the worst case scenario where it does nothing, you got to touch grass for 10 minutes. At least accept touching grass is nice. I saw a goat when I went to go vote. Maybe that's just because I'm in rural Georgia, but the voting center I was at had a cute goat just walking around. He let me pet him. He was cute. But it should be noted, it's also a matter of statistical relevance that the lack of strong confidence in our country's ability to conduct an honest election crosses partisan lines. This is not just a one-way street. Drossus, thank you for redeeming your points for an... You fucking degen. So, bearing in mind that this is an issue that manifests itself on both sides of the political divide, but certainly more so on a different side, certainly more so on the right wing of politics, and certainly more so for different reasons. One, we have evidence the Electoral College creates results where the will of the people does not actually get heard, whereas on the right side of politics, we have something Jesus certified it, so I don't have to do anything. Give me my binky. I think it's safe to say maybe we should politic. God damn, look, I'm getting a sandwich. I'm getting a sandwich after this. I'm gonna make a PB&J, and I'm gonna edit this video while eating a sandwich. That's what I'm gonna do. To end the insanity, we can't though. There's look, the subathon will continue until material conditions improve. Proletarian politics. Don't I wish. Anyways, as always, everybody, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please assure me you're gonna go fucking vote. Please. And as always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.